let's talk about homeowners associations. HOA, aka homeowners associations, is going to be with a home, a condo, or a townhouse that is an association that oversees the CC&Rs of the property or the regulations of the homeowners association. CC&Rs is the declaration and covenants, conditions and restrictions inside of real estate. Now the CC&Rs is not only going to be with an HOA, the CC&Rs will also be another part of real estate, but specifically with an HOA, they are going to make sure that the CC&Rs are being covered and regulated. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions at all, I'm always here and happy to help. When we're talking about the HOA or the homeowners association is going to be something that's put in place when a development is created. My first home was a condominium. And a condominium or a townhouse, many times you just automatically think that there's going to have the HOAs or the homeowners associations. And the reason for it is that a condominium or a townhouse, those homes are much closer together. There's also going to be the area or the common area inside of which the condo or the townhouse sits. That common area is going to be the grounds of the property. Typically, the grounds of the property will be insured by the HOA. And the homeowners association, that's going to be typically just one of the things that's covered there. Another thing that's typically covered is going to be any amenities. The amenities might be the swimming pool, might be the basketball court, might be a number of different things that might actually cover. Now, in covering the grounds, that's going to typically cover electricity for the grounds. It's going to also typically cover the insurance. Now, sometimes the HOA dues that you pay, you're paying the dues to an HOA. The reason that you're paying the dues to an HOA, there's going to be specific things that the HOA dues cover. And those things are typically going to be the grounds to start with, as we just discussed. And inside of the grounds, it's going to cover the insurance. And it's going to specifically cover hazard insurance on the grounds. And being hazard insurance on the grounds, if somebody trips and falls, it's going to make sure that they're covered and they're not going to sue the entire facility, so that the entire property then becomes insolvent and all of the owners of the condos, townhouses, or the homes that are there then have an issue with a lien on the homes, because if somebody sues for $200 million and the houses are worth $1 million a piece and there's 15 of them, then you have a big issue. And as far as the homeowners association dues, the homeowners association is always going to have a board. And the homeowners association is going to have a board of, at minimum, a certain amount of homeowners who live in the association. And the reason for that is they always want to make sure on a homeowners association that it's going to be in the best interest of the homeowners there. And when you're in the best interest of the homeowners, you want to make sure you have a certain minimum requirement of people that are actually on the board as well. As a homeowner inside the association, you will have meetings. You're going to have meeting minutes as well. So you're always going to have the ability to go to the meetings and to have your voice heard. Now, with the homeowners association, it's important, and there's a couple different pieces to it. One is that, as I said, the condo, townhouse, you're typically going to expect to have the HOAs or the homeowners associations. You have to watch the dues, and in the homeowners association dues, typically when you look at the disclosures, those disclosures are going to tell you how much are the homeowners association dues. They're always going to tell you how much the homeowners association dues are, but many times you'll see homeowners association dues are expected to raise X amount per year. And you also want to take a look back at the financials of the homeowners association. And inside the financial, it's going to show you if there's any assessments that have been done to the individual properties. If there is an assessment done to the individual properties, it is something that you want to take a look at. And the reason for that is sometimes I have seen in the past that there was a special assessment that was done for the property on, say, decks, on all of the decks of a specific section of the units. Now, you would think that, okay, so just those units would have to cover those decks. That's not necessarily the case. Many times it will be the entire homeowners association that's going to put in the cost to help cover the decks for those specific units. It's also going to be inside the CC&Rs as far as how the homeowners association is going to cover that. And so these are very specific pieces that you do want to look at when you're purchasing a condo, townhouse, or a home. So a condo and townhouse, always going to have HOAs. I have not ever seen one without the HOAs. Single family homes will also have HOAs every once in a while, not always. A PUD, which is a single family home, and PUD stands for Planned Urban Development. A PUD is going to be a single family home, and that's going to be inside of an association typically. And many times the newer build properties are PUDs. And a Planned Urban Development area, it can be a pretty good size of a number of a couple of hundred acres, even more sometimes. And when you do have that scenario that you're working with, many times you're going to see parks inside of these areas. And those parks are going to be covered by the HOA. So just like when you have a condo or a townhouse, you're going to have the HOA covering the pool, the basketball court, and things of that nature. The PUD is going to also cover the parks. And there may be a lake there. There might be pools and basketball courts there as well. Many times there are. And maybe there's a central place for everybody to meet. Those are all possibilities for HOA dues. One thing that it does come into account when you're purchasing the home is you want to make sure that your lender is aware of the HOA dues, and to make sure that there's no issue with the HOA being approved for the loan. So it's one thing to talk to your lender and your real estate agent about, just to make sure that everything's on the same page before you move forward with it. Now, the HOA is also going to dictate what color can the door be, what types of things can you have in the yard, if you have a yard. If it's a condo or a townhouse, it might say you can't have specific things on the porch. It might say that you cannot have specific things in the yard, in the backyard or front yard if you have one. It's going to say things like you cannot have your door painted a specific color or anything but a specific color. It will get down to very detailed things, and the reason for that is when you have an HOA, the HOA is going to be there to make sure that everything looks uniform inside of the development that the HOA is running, and everybody is living in a positive way, because condos, townhouses, you are living together and you're inhabiting the same area. So you want to make sure that the person next door, if their door is a complete different color than everybody else's door, it's going to stand out and it's not going to look uniform. So that's the nuts and the bolts of the HOA. If you have any questions, if you want to talk further about this, please let me know. If you like the videos I do, like, subscribe, and if you have any ideas for other videos, please let me know. Hope you're having a great day. Take care.